got a bike, you can ride it if you like. It's got a basket, a bell that rings, things to make it look good. I'd give it to you if I could, but I borrowed it. You're the kind of girl that fits in with my world. I'll give you anything, everything if you want thing. I've got a cloak, it's a bit of a joke. There's a tear at the front and it's red and black, I've had it for months. If you think it could look good, then I guess it should. You're the kind of girl that fits in with my world. I'll give you anything, everything if you want thing. I know a mouse and he hasn't got a house. I don't know why I call him Gerald. He's getting rather old, but he's a good mouse. You're the kind of girl that fits in with my world. I'll give you anything, everything if you want thing. I've got a clan of gingerbread man. Here a man, there a man, lots of gingerbread men. Take a couple if you wish, they're on the dish. You're the kind of girl that fits in with my world. I'll give you anything, everything if you want thing. Hey everyone, welcome to MT Guitar and to Pink Floyd Friday. Today we're covering the last song on Piper at the Gates of Dawn, which is Bike. Bike is actually known to be one of Syd's earliest songs that he had kicking around for a while. Very reminiscent of the British pop, psychedelic pop kind of sound, and quite different, very sort of in your face, as opposed to the other songs on Piper at the Gates of Dawn, which are, you know, arguably much more dreamy and psychedelic. Although there's plenty of dreamy aspects of this song too, but it's very driving, and it's sort of a song that a lot of people didn't like for that reason, but some people really like it for that reason as well. So, very fun song to play. Absolutely fascinating what's happening at the second half. So we're going to talk about that. Talk about some of the studio techniques that were used to create that very psychedelic sort of freak out at the end of the song. Reminiscent of some of the, you know, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band stuff going on. Now, let's talk about that, because this album was recorded at Abbey Road Studios with many of the engineers from the Beatles sessions, right? Norman Smith was the producer for Piper at the Gates of Dawn, who was an engineer and co-producer of many of the Beatles songs, working alongside George Martin in Abbey Road. The Beatles and Pink Floyd knew each other. They would be coming in and out of studio sessions, and that's very fascinating to know that at the height of the Beatles psychedelic era, Pink Floyd was recording at the same studio at the same time. All right. Now, the clearest example of that parallel between the Beatles' psychedelic era and Pink Floyd's first album is at the very end of the album, which is where Bike is. We have a tape loop, right? That's basically looping what sounds like ducks quacking. And what it is actually sped up laughs of the band and then put in reverse. But it sounds just like ducks in a loop, which is very similar to the end of Sgt. Pepper's ending, when, you know, you can kind of hear someone saying, never could be any other way, never could, you know, and it's all sped up as well. So another parallel would be all the experimental stuff going on with, you know, tape loops and what's called music concrète, which is a sort of an avant-garde 20th century classical term that the Beatles hopped onto. Especially Paul was interested in this in Swinging London, where, you know, many tape loops made it onto Revolver even before '67 when this came out. So on Revolver you have Tomorrow Never Knows with a lot of what people call electric seagull sounds, and those are sort of this music concrète style of music where you take raw sound, in this case, you know, whatever it might be, voices, instruments, and then you affect the tape, whether speeding it up, reversing it, causing sort of a distortion of some kind, not literal guitar distortion, but sort of modifying the tape in some way. So at the second half of the song, when Syd is talking about, you know, what does he exactly say here? He says, let's go into the other room and make them work. Now we're looking at this other room, or we're hearing this other room, all these crazy sounds coming up. So let me read from this excellent book some of the instruments played there. This book, All the Songs, really good book. And I want to just read some of the instruments that were played. We have what appears to be like the Benson Echo Rec. I'm just going to quote it here. What appears to be the Benson Echo Rec being kicked about by one of the musicians. Peter Brown recalls a session they may have well been for Bike. All right. I'll always remember when I was in the studio when all of a sudden Roger Waters' foot came out. Bang! I thought, good God, that's going to all fall apart. And this is followed by a multitude of noises that are difficult to identify. Here we go. So here's all the noises at the second half of Bike, which ends the album Piper at the Gates of Dawn. Okay? We have probably the spokes of a spinning bicycle wheel against which different objects are held, notes played on the celeste, the strings of an acoustic piano being strummed, right, inside the piano, tubular bells or small Asian gongs, a whistle, and in fact Roger is playing a sort of like a penny whistle every time there's that bridge. You're the kind of girl, and then Roger just going into glissando down. So yeah, a whistle, mechanical toys, and possibly Waters' Rickenbacker played with a bow high up the neck. And then finally at 2:57, the track concludes with a loop of quacking rubber ducks, recalling the loop of the Beatles that the Beatles added to the end of the second side of the album of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, I thought I liked that summary of all the instruments being played there. And this ended, Pink Floyd's first album. And we're going to learn this song here together. It's very easy to play as far as strumming it. We have G and C7 on the verse, but if you listen to the guitar part quite closely, you can hear the electric full chord and then a backbeat stop, which you don't have to play it that way. I'm going to teach it that way because I like to sort of play what Syd's playing, but you're welcome to just go, I've got to bike, you can ride. Just let it all sort of ring out. It's fine. But let's talk about how Syd did it. So we're going to do G chord, 4 fingers. We're going to go down, down, and on the second down, we'll stop the strings. Then C7. G. Now D. Now each verse is slightly different timing. So you would want to have the lyrics sort of keeping you on track. I didn't talk about the lyrics of this, but it's pretty obvious. It's sort of a half playful song, half love song, talking about showing a bike and various things, including a mouse and a clan of gingerbread man, and eventually the room of musical tunes, as well as a cloak. Can't forget the cloak. All to this girl and probably Julie, whatever her name is, Sykes or whatever, Syd's girlfriend at the time. All right, so. We have all these things that Syd is showing to his love interest. Okay, so that's kind of the lyrics there. So you'd want to have those lyrics sort of up and running, so to speak, or just like kind of going through your head so you know when to change chords, because the chord changes are always slightly different. All right. One thing about Syd's writing is it's endlessly creative and inventive, right? So that's it. That's the verse. Now on the chorus. You're the kind of girl. You could just simply strum D, but I would actually recommend D7. So you're the kind of girl that fits in with my, just sort of dreamy and lazy, and everything if you want thing. Then we have, hey, those are 2 snare shots with tons of echo. Then they clipped the reverb, not echo with reverb. Then they clipped the reverb right at the start of the verse. So it's like, right? All right. So that's it. That's the song. Now, what I did is I sort of transcribed Richard Wright's beautiful piano playing there. I really like Richard Wright's playing on this. And okay, you kind of have to finger it like this to get the notes. So he's playing the first time, and then the second time he's going. Right. So let me teach you both of those, and and then you'll pretty much have the song the way I'm doing it, at least. Here's 5th and 4th frets, 5th and 4th strings. Then you go down to 2nd fret, and then open 3rd string, 4th fret, 4th string. Let everything ring out. Now 2-0 3rd string. Now O 2, sorry, O 2nd string to 2 3rd string. So it's I'll give you anything, everything if you want thing. Syd's melody is really cool. It's chromatically going down. I'll give you anything, everything if you want thing. He's just sliding down. It's actually quite brilliant there to be able to nail that chromatic melody. And then the second and third times he goes, rises up. So that's 5 and 4, O 3rd string, 2, 1st fret 2nd string, then might as well strike the 4th string with the 2nd string open, 3rd fret, 1, 2nd fret 3rd string. You're the kind, 3, 4. You're the kind of girl that fits in with my world. I'll give you anything, everything if you want thing. Right? Kind of fun to do that melody on the guitar. You know. So that's another thing you can do with this song, is just play a chord melody. Even up an octave. Right? Very fun song to play. And we're covering sort of the last song on Piper at the Gates of Dawn, which I think is an important statement from early Floyd and from Syd there. And kind of fun to take a look at these studio techniques. All right, give it a listen as well from the album, and then play along with it a little bit, and I think you'll have fun with it. Happy Pink Floyd Friday. Check out the Patreon, and tons of lessons up there, tons of Pink Floyd lessons if you're looking for those at the lowest tier. And I hope you're having a great day. Remember to subscribe, leave a comment, hit the thumbs up, all that good stuff. Let's get to 100K subscribers one of these days, right? Would be nice. All right, take care, everyone. Happy practicing.